sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CFB. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CFB. Welcome, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is Friday, 5/11 on the East Coast, here to get our turbo episode out for the Saturday games. We'll give you our lock, our dog, and our total for the Saturday games. And joining me here to give out their picks as well. First, my main man on the East Coast, it's Dylan Rockford. Dylan, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing good. Florida weather's treating me well, boys. I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Well, it's not too hot today.
No, it's we had a little light showers for 30 minutes, and then it turned out to be sunshine. Typical Florida weather.
Yeah, typical, right? And also joining us from the Great Lakes area, he's knee deep, maybe getting ready for college football kicking off tomorrow. But hey, he's gonna find the time to be here with us. It's Noah Beanick. Noah, how you doing?
Doing pretty well, Munaf. Yeah, kind of knee deep in the college football, I will say. But we're repping the MLB Gambling Podcast merch. So go over to the SGPN store. They got some pretty cool stuff over there. So a lot of just startup merchandise with a lot of the logos from the podcasts that are some of the listeners' favorites. And then the college experience. They've got one in like colors for your school. A lot of the power schools, they have that. And then SGP has a ton of their sayings and merch over there. It's pretty cool. So go check that out. But Lock Dog and Total today for Saturday. Let's go.
Yeah, like Noah mentioned, check out the brand new launch merch store. A lot of great stuff is in there. If you're watching live or if you want to look back at the replay right now, Noah has on the SGPN MLB t-shirt for the MLB Gambling Podcast. Yeah, like Noah said, we're here for our lock, dog, and total for the Saturday games. Gentlemen, before we get into that, anything that kind of stuck out to you maybe last night or the past week that we may need to mention? We did see, I think Bryce Harper is back for the Phillies. And I think you guys touched on Zach Wheeler headed to the IL for 15 days for the Phillies as well. So they get their best hitter back, but they lose one of their best pitchers, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it was going to be kind of hard to keep Harper off the team. I mean, once he hit, I think it was like 2 bombs in the first game or first 2 games down there. I mean, once it makes mainstream media, the fans are going to want him, especially in this little wild card race that they're in. They need him. And Wheeler's a huge blow. But a couple of other news pieces that were huge today. If Dylan does not want to chime in on the Harper thing.
Yeah, don't really care about Harper, but I do like Julio Rodriguez got paid. So that was really cool to see. Weird deal. It's a base of 8 years, 120 million, but could go up to all the way to 10, 12 years, and he could cap out at like 460, 470. I was reading under Jeff Passan. So I feel like that would be the largest contract. Am I wrong about that?
You're not wrong, but the way that the bonuses is, I don't think it qualifies because it's not guaranteed. Now, I love the way that, Alex Anthopoulos, the general manager of the Atlanta Braves, has kind of created this thinking, and it's working really well for him. He's already won a World Series. It's like, putting belief in your young studs and paying them early instead of having them show you their talent throughout the first 4 years and then their value's higher. Pay them early before they do what they want to do, because they still want to make a name for themselves. I think it's proved to be a pretty good strategy. And some of the mid-major markets like Atlanta, like Seattle, what are some other good ones, guys? The Giants, they should be like, this is like the new tanking strategy. The tanking was the fab 15 years ago, 10 years ago when the Astros were doing it. And now it's going to be this little Alex Anthopoulos thing here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's exciting for Mariners fans. I know, he's starting to be, or I think he's already on that stage where he's one of the more electrifying players.
I think the home run derby did it for him.
Yeah, it really did. And I think that's going to be exciting times for Mariners. And, Dylan and I were both high on the Mariners coming into the season. They have a solid core of players there. And they haven't been afraid to, make the moves to improve this team. We saw that in the offseason when they made some trade with the Reds to bring in Jesse Winker. Eugenio Suarez they brought in. Now you pay Julio Rodriguez. And then also at the trade deadline, obviously, you bring in Luis Castillo right there with Robbie Ray and Logan Gilbert. This is a squad, man. It's going to be for them to compete in that AL West, especially how good the Astros are. I think that it's time to buy the stock on the Seattle Mariners. I think this might be the time where they can maybe next season give a run to the Astros for that division. But it's going to be fun to watch this team as they kind of grow over the next couple of years. Gentlemen, let's get into our lock dog in total. Let's kick it off with our totals first. Dylan, I'll give you the floor first. What's your total for the Saturday games?
Yeah, so for my Saturday game for the total, I'm going out to Minnesota between the Giants and the Twins. I'm going to go over here. I got it at 7 at -115. I made my line 8.4. I know for the most part for both of the teams, are both under teams, but Alex Cobb on the road, he's not the best. He gives up a lot of hard contact, and in his last 4 starts on the road, 3 of them have gone over this total. With Sonny Gray, he's the Twins' ace, and he's pitched better at home than on the road. But get this, in his last 11 games he started home and on the road, the total has gone over in 9 out of the 11 games. So they win a bunch of these games, but for some reason, they're always high-scoring games. He gets the run support. He gives up a little run. So I think both pitchers are susceptible to give up a few runs. I think we get over this. So I'm going to go over 7 here.
Yeah, I know, like you mentioned, despite Alex Cobb being 1-0 on the road this season, he does have a 5.65 ERA in 8 games that he has started for the San Francisco Giants. 27 earned runs given up in about 43 innings pitched, 37 strikeouts and 10 walks on the road as well. So, yeah, I think this number is a little bit conservative here. They've scored at least 7 runs in 3 straight games when Alex Cobb has started for the San Francisco Giants. So it feels like a little conservative number here. Thoughts on this one, Noah?
Yeah, I think the best explanation for this play, and Dylan touched on it, is it's a fade of Cobb. And you know what? If I like Sonny Gray, and I think he pitches pretty well at home too. If you're just going to fade Cobb, Twins run. I cannot talk. Twins money line's only -120. Mm-hmm. Oh my Lord! So
I like them too.
Yeah, that's not a bad play there either.
Yeah, I was probably want to look at the Twins team total then as well in this game. So maybe it'll be a stack up spot here for the Minnesota Twins. But Noah, let's get over to your total for the Saturday games. What do you got?
My total comes in the Los Angeles Angels versus the Toronto Blue Jays game. We're going under 7.5, -120 on win bet. The Shohei Ohtani show hits the road, hits to Canada, actually. He's 10-8, 2.83 ERA, 167 strikeouts, 32 walks, and 121 innings pitched. He has 7 or more strikeouts in his last 8 starts. For Toronto, Alek Manoah goes. He's 12-6, 2.66 ERA, 139 strikeouts, 37 walks, and 148.2 innings pitched. We're getting this number at 7.5 because both these pitchers have not been their usual dominant form. Mm-hmm. This really should be, I think, at 7 or 6.5. And I'll take my chances in one of the best pitchers in our game getting shelled for 4 runs in their start here.
Yeah, last start for Ohtani was against the Detroit Tigers there. And I think that he had some stomach issues. Stomach issues in that game. And, it didn't – I think that first pitch in that game, he gave up a home run to Hunter
Green. His longest home run he's ever given up in his career.
Yeah, so I think that this is a good bounce back spot for Shohei Ohtani going up to Canada to take on the Blue Jays team. And anytime we talk about Alek Manoah, it's always a guy that I want to back at home because he's just been so dominant on their home field on the season. 12-6, 2.66 ERA, and like Noah mentioned there, he has struggled over his last couple of games where he has given up some runs, but at home this season, 6-3 with a 2.79 ERA. For the Toronto Blue Jays. I don't want to see how he's done against the Angels in his career.
It's only 2 years, small sample size.
It's only 2 years. He does have 2 starts with against the Angels. He's 1-0 with a 2.84 ERA. The one thing that does stick out here, Noah, is maybe a strikeout prop. I don't know if you think about it here, but he had 11 strikeouts in the start last season against the LA Angels, and then this season back on May 27th. 7 innings pitched, allowed 2 earned runs, had 9 strikeouts in that game. So, I like it here, man. I think this might be a pitcher's duel. Again, we talked about the Angels offense. They're just struggling. Yeah. There's no question about that.
When you're taking strikeout props, that's the number 1 offense to fade right there.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Let me get over to my total, and I'm going to go over to that NL Central matchup between the Chicago Cubs in the Milwaukee Brewers. Currently seeing a 7.5, and I'm going to take the under in this game as well. So Drew Smiley has shockingly probably or is the best pitcher for the Chicago Cubs as of late. He is 5-7 on the season with a 3.47 ERA. Over his last 5 games, 2-2 with a 2.57 ERA. Only allowed 8 earned runs in about 28 innings pitched to the opposition. He did have one start against the Milwaukee Brewers this season. He only went 3 innings in that game, but he didn't allow an earned run, nor did he give up any hits in that game either. He did have 3 strikeouts on the road, pretty consistent as well. 4-3 with a 3.91 ERA against NL Central opponents. 3-3 with a 2.83 ERA. If you kind of take a look over his last 4 games, there hasn't been a single game where there has been more than 6 runs scored. So he's had games where the Cubs won 4-0, 4-2, 3-2. And then in his last game against the St. Louis Cardinals, where he only allowed 1 earned run over 7 innings to an offense that has been raking. And we've talked a lot about the Cardinals and how well they have been doing. So I think for him to be able to do that, I think that has been absolutely fantastic for the Cubs. And being a left-handed pitcher, the Milwaukee Brewers do struggle against the left-handed pitching as well. And just looking at their WRC plus numbers over the last 2 weeks, they ranked number 26 in that category. They also strike out a lot against left-handed pitching. They are number 2 in team strikeout percentage at 34.3. Team batting average is at 176. Slugging is at 296. So, it's not very good for the Brewers when they are facing left-handed pitching. Brandon Woodruff, 9-3 on the season, 3.51 ERA. He did have one rough start against the Cubs, and this was like the second game in the season, I believe, where he got roughed up. But his last start was actually against his Cubs team in Chicago, where he went 5 2/3 of an inning, gave up 2 earned runs, which were both home runs to the Chicago Cubs. At home, he's been dominant. He's a perfect 5-0 with a 2.51 ERA. So I think that runs are going to be at a premium. And we've seen, especially when they played the Dodgers, that the Milwaukee Brewers, they just struggle against left-handed pitching. So I'm going to go with the under 7.5 in this game between the Brewers and the Cubs. What was your number come out to in this game here, Dylan?
Yeah, so for both of these games, surprisingly enough, they came out to 7.4. So slight lean. It was too close for me to take it, but if I did, I would be on the side of you guys and take the under.
All right. Before we get into the dogs for the show, let me tell you guys about our presenting sponsor, WynnBET. Thinking of joining WynnBET? Now is the perfect time. New customers who bet $100 get a $100 free bet. If you're betting baseball, you have to check out WynnBET and their reduced juice in baseball games, which makes them the best place to bet MLB. Plus, the WynnBET casino is always open 24 hours a day, where you can get a 100% deposit bonus of up to $1,000 in the WynnBET casino. Wynn also just released their first quarterback with 5 touchdowns prop bets. There's just so much to choose from, and all you have to do is head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET so they know we sent you. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET and claim your free bet today. Offers subject to change. Terms and conditions at wynnbet.com. Must be 21 years or older and present in the state where playthrough WynnBET is available. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. We're also brought to you by OddsTrader. What is OddsTrader? OddsTrader is a place to compare odds from all major sports books. You can also compare the different sign-up codes and promotions from sports books to get the best deal. The app also provides player statistics, key game stats, injury reports, and projected game day weather for bettors to make the most informed bets possible. It also has a bet tracker so bettors can keep records of all the games that you're betting and your betting activity. Also, all you have to do is take advantage of this is go to oddstrader.com/Blue Wire. That's oddstrader.com/Blue Wire. OddsTrader, the #1 site for all your game day bets. And we're also brought to you by Run Your Pool. Run Your Pool is a home of competition, bringing sports fans and their social circles together to compete, connect, and make every game matter more. Run Your Pool offers every game type under the sun, from Pick'em and Survivor to fantasy pools. It's a one-stop shop for sports gaming with customizable features that you don't get anywhere else. And if you're probably that guy that works in the office and probably has to organize all these pools, and you don't want to use those spreadsheets and having to work way into the night on Sunday night trying to figure it out, just make it easy. Head over to Run Your Pool, and they have all these customizable features like I mentioned. Not only that, we've teamed up with Run Your Pool to host the official SGPN NFL Survivor Contest. To reserve your spot, just hop in at play.runyourpool.com/SGPN. That's play.runyourpool.com/SGPN. And the winner of the SGPN NFL Survivor Contest is going to get $500 in cash plus $250 gift certificate to the SGPN merch store. So you can only get in and win when you reserve your spot at play.runyourpool.com/SGPN. All right, gentlemen, let's keep this going here. Let's get into our totals for the Saturday games. Noah, I will let you lead this one off. Oh, sorry, your dog. We'll get into our dogs now. We just did our totals. Let's get into our dog plays for the Saturday games. Noah, what do you got for your dog of the day?
So for my dog, I was on the wrong page here. I'm going to the New York Yankees. I have them winning by 2 or by 3. I have them -2.5.
Okay.
I just, you look at this Thursday game and it was a blowout. It was over in the first inning, and they had 8. It was 8-0 in the third inning.
Yeah.
I have them losing. I have the Oakland Athletics losing by 3 or more. This Yankees team is alive and well right now. 3-0 since the dude shoved a straw through his wiener. 4-0 since Jobber Chamberlain tweeted out that they will be fine. And they're 5-2 since Stephen A. Smith gave out his clown-like take on First Take. Reminder, we're recording this one on Friday afternoon, so we don't know the Friday result, but, I mean, it was 13-4 Thursday night. Adam Oller makes this start, and he has been one of the worst pitchers in the MLB this year. When you look up the fantasy rankings, like in the database, which is where I go to pull out these pitching stats, he is bottom 25, and that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Adam Oller's 2-6, 6.41 ERA, 37 strikeouts, 33 walks, and 60.1 innings pitched. He's walking a guy in every other inning that he is pitching. 7.71 ERA at home at the dump. The Yankees, they're going with Domingo Germán here, 2-2, 3.89 ERA, 26 strikeouts, 9 walks, and 34.2 innings pitched. Remember that 3.89 ERA that I just said? That's in 7 starts this year. He had a late start to the season. That's against the Mets, the Rays, the Red Sox, the Cardinals, the Mariners, the Mets, and the Astros. All offenses that are significantly better than the second worst offense in the MLB, the Athletics. New York Yankees -2.5 when that number drops tomorrow.
Yeah, I love that. You mentioned their offense has, picked it up, and I think that a huge part of that has been getting, they got Stanton back the other night, and I think that just, when you don't have Josh Donaldson batting cleanup for you anymore, he gets pushed down to 6, he gets pushed down to 7 in their lineups, and now when you have, Judge and Stanton going back to back, DJ LeMahieu is back as well. Carpenter should be back, but you mentioned it, like that first game against the Oakland A's where they just put it away in that first and second inning. For the Yankees, this offense, I think this is a good time to start back in the New York Yankees when they have a series against the Oakland A's, one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the American League. And then you also have a series next against the LA Angels as well for the Yankees. So this might be a time to start buying in on the Yankee stock.
Come on, Munaf, you weren't a fan of Josh Donaldson batting leadoff for the Yankees?
No, not particularly. Dylan, any thoughts on the Yankees -2.5 here?
Yeah, I like it. You just can't back the A's. I do think this is a good time to back them because Stanton's back, and they put up 13, 14 runs yesterday, and that's with only Aaron Judge and Stanton only getting 1 hit each. So imagine if they were really on. So
yeah,
I never questioned their offense. It was always the pitching for me. I knew their offense was eventually going to turn. They're too good not to turn it around. It was the pitching for me. But yeah, I do think this is a good time to back them. They're too good not to.
I mean, let's talk about it too. Again, it comes down to that last minute trade, Jordan Montgomery for Harrison Bader. What are you doing now? Nestor Cortez is on the IL. Yep. Your number 2 starter for the whole year has been done. Now you have Jordan Montgomery, who should have been there, but he's over there pitching in St. Louis.
And now he's doing so much better because me and Munaf were talking before he got traded, and it was a guy that the last month you couldn't back him, but he went to a great organization for pitchers. St. Louis just breeds pitchers.
It's a great organization, and the fans aren't like super radioactive.
Yeah, so. that's very fair for New York. Yep. For my dog, let's go out to Seattle. Mariners -1.5. I think they take care of home here. I love the pitching matchup for them with Castillo on the mound. That's the guy they should have been after the Yankees, but I digress. He's only had one start in Seattle as a Mariner, and this is only going to be his second start at home, but I think he's had 3 quality starts for them. He didn't have a great start in his last outing, and surprisingly, it was against the A's, but that was on the road, and I don't expect him to have another performance like that. He's only allowed 4 runs one other time this whole season, and it was against the best team in the league, the Dodgers. So now, Plesac, he's not a really guy I want to back on the road, just 1-7. 4 of his last 5 starts on the road, the team has lost by 2 or more runs. They don't score for him. I love the Mariners. I think they win convincingly here. Give me them. I got it at +140. I see it at +125. Still love it.
Yeah, I'm on the same exact dog here as Dylan as well. So, everything that you just mentioned there, it's more of a fade for me, at least for Zach Plesac. Like you mentioned, he's 1-7 on the road here, a 4.93 ERA, and they've lost, the stat that you just gave of how many games they have lost with 2+ or by 2 or more runs in his starts as well. And Castillo, another thing that did stick out is what you exactly just mentioned there, Dylan, is that when he does have a bad start like he did against the Oakland A's, shockingly, he bounces back in a big way for this team. And right now, again, both of these teams are battling for, either the division like the Guardians are, or the Mariners who are just trying to stay alive and fight for for a playoff position in the AL wild card. So I think it's a good spot for them to come out in here and with Castillo, probably their second best pitcher, to dominate in this game and getting it at a plus price. I think I love that even more. And just like I mentioned, it's more of a fade of Zach Plesac on the road as well. And I think the bats will get going in this game as well for Castillo. Noah, you have thoughts on the Mariners -1.5 tomorrow or for Saturday? I'm sorry.
You're good. That is one hell of a August for the Seattle Mariners front office. Like Dylan mentioned, they went out there and they poached Castillo right in front of the Yankees before it was not the day of the trade deadline, it was the day before. And I think the Yankees were trying to hold out because they were not willing to deal. I think it was Volpe that Seattle wanted. Seattle wanted one of their top prospects, and the Yankees were not budging on that. So that was the deal breaker, and they ended up losing Castillo. And it's been over the last 2 weeks, the Yankees were down. Seattle, they're thriving right now in that wild card race, and like we mentioned, next year it's the division or bust. I think for this game in specific, they've got to at least take one from the Guardians, right? So
they won the first game. They won yesterday.
Yeah, they won on Thursday.
Yeah. A quick question, Munaf. You said that he's probably their number 2. It's crazy to think a Cy Young guy like Robbie Ray is probably their 3rd, right?
It is. I think their best pitcher has been Logan Gilbert.
Yeah.
Logan. And I said this, I think we were talking about this after the trade happened, that if Robbie Ray can just find his form, he doesn't have to be the Cy Young, if he's can return to Cy Young form, that's even better for the Seattle Mariners. But if he just is 20-30% better for this Mariners team, you're throwing out a pitching rotation like Castillo, Gilbert, Robbie Ray. I think that's pretty damn good for this young Mariners team.
I was really bullish on that Robbie Ray kind of letdown year after signing the contract. Next year, I think he's back to form. But this year, the second half, he's been better. I will rebuttal 100%. With that because the beginning of the year, I was just hammering the freight train of just fade Ray. But he has been to the point where I can't automatically say that anymore. So I'll say that.
Yeah, I think it's probably just a transition year for him because a lot of these I think Dylan, you could probably attest to this, is that, and I know it's the opposite side, but Francisco Lindor, last season for the Mets, he just wasn't very good, like the player that they're expecting. But this season, he should be in that conversation of NL MVP. I know Goldschmidt is probably running away with it, and the odds are indicating that. But Francisco Lindor has been great for the Mets this year, and it's just probably that transition year that he is going through.
Who's having the better year, Lindor or Trey Turner?
Don't ask me.
I would probably go with Lindor. I would give the edge to Lindor.
I would give it to Lindor just because of the narrative and how bad he was last year compared to this year. I really think that he improved so much.
And he also broke Jose Reyes' RBI record, and people in New York love Jose Reyes, so they hold him so high in New York. So for him to have such a bounce back year, people were New York radio last year after they were ripping him 300 million. He doesn't deserve it, and then he comes back and he looks like the old Lindor. So I love it.
Yeah, 100%. So I think we all gave our dogs there, right, guys? So we just got our locks left. All right, before we get into our locks, let me tell you guys about Sleeper. Sleeper is the fastest growing fantasy platform with millions of players. You probably already have a fantasy league on there, and we at SGPN we use it for ours. They just passed 4 million. That's right, 4 million users on the Sleeper app. And now you can win on Sleeper by playing their new over-under game. First in any sport, choose 2 or more players that you like and pick the over-under. If you pick correctly, you can win anywhere from 2 times to over 20 times the money you put in. With the NFL season right around the corner, Sleeper is a first sports contest built into the fantasy experience. The main reason I'm excited about over-under on Sleeper, it's the only app where I can join my buddies' contests and play together. It's got a built-in group chat where I can see and copy my friends' picks with the tap of a button. And it's insanely fun to write it out together. Stop what you're doing and download the Sleeper app now and their new over-under game. Have fun with your friends and make some money. And on your mobile device, join our listener group on Sleeper at sleeper.com/SGP, and Sleeper will automatically match your first deposit of up to $100. Again, go to sleeper.com/SGP and you'll get a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Roster brought to you by Trade Coffee. Trade Coffee connects the customers to the freshest and best tasting coffee they've ever made at home by partnering with the country's best craft roasters. These are independent businesses from big cities and small towns. Trade customers are truly impactful for the independent roasters, often being the largest source of new growth for them. The Trade's coffee team actually taste tests thousands of coffees to keep 450 different kinds of coffees live and ready to ship every single day. And there's no one perfect coffee for anyone, but there is a perfect coffee for you. And Trade's human-powered algorithm will find it. Trade is so confident they'll match you right the first time that if they don't, they'll they'll take your feedback and they'll actually provide you a coffee expert, and they'll find that taste for you and also give you a free bag for that brand new taste that you like. So all you have to do is just answer a couple questions, and then you can do that at drinktrade.com/SGP. But not only that, you'll get a total of $30 off your first order plus free shipping. But you only have to do that, or can get that deal for our listeners only at drinktrade.com/SGP. That's more than 40 cups of coffee for free. Get started today by taking their quiz at drinktrade.com/SGP and let Trade find that perfect coffee you'll love. Roster brought to you by Babbel. For most of us, learning a second language in high school or college wasn't exactly a high point in our academic careers. We had to take that French class or that Spanish class just to graduate high school. But now, thanks to Babbel, the language learning app that sold more than 10 million subscriptions, there's an addictively fun and easy way to learn a new language, whether you'll be traveling abroad or connecting in a deeper way with family or just have some free time. Babbel teaches bite-sized lessons, language lessons that you'll actually use in the real world. Babbel's 15-minute lessons makes it the perfect way to learn a new language on the go. Other languages learning apps use AI for their lesson plans, but Babbel lessons were created by over 100 college and language experts. Their teaching method has been scientifically proven to be effective. So all you have to do right now is you can save up to 60% off your subscription when you go to babbel.com/SGP. That's babbel.com/SGP for up to 60% off your subscription. Babbel, language for life. And last but not least, we're also brought to you by Elias. It's almost the start of NFL season. We're about 1.5 weeks away, and we all love this time of year. It's like Christmas, that lead up to Christmas Day for sports fans, football fans, fantasy players, all of us. And if you're into sports betting or fantasy, you need that competitive edge to win. That's why I highly recommend getting the Elias Game Plan app. It's the ultimate sports betting and fantasy companion for NFL, NBA, and MLB. Elias Game Plan is the only sports app from the most trusted name in sports stats. Elias Sports Bureau is the official statisticians, I'd say that 5 times in a row, of the U.S. pro sports leagues, including the National Football League. Their app gives you easy access to team and player stats, head-to-head team comparisons, and Elias insights from the Elias Sports Bureau research team. So to take advantage of this, download the Elias Game Plan app today with new features available all the time. Take your game to the next level. NFL season, like I mentioned, a week and a half away, so don't wait. Find Elias Game Plan in the App Store or Google Play Store today. All right, gentlemen, busy times at SGPN. We have a lot of new sponsors, a lot of exciting times for us, but let's get into our locks for the Saturday schedule. Noah, I will let you lead this off, buddy. What is your lock for the Saturday games?
It's a place so nice that we have to say it twice. It's the under in that Cubs Brewers game that you had to start off our podcast, Muna. Drew Smyly on the mound for Chicago. 5-7, 3.47 ERA, 71 strikeouts, 19 walks, and 83 innings pitched. He has a 1.16 ERA in his last 4 games, a 2.79 ERA in his last 7 games, and the Brewers are terrible against left-handed pitching. They strike out way too much, and they're 24th in OPS versus southpaws in the MLB. Drew Smyly should have some fun in this game, and he's going up against Brandon Woodruff. 9-3, 3.51 ERA, 122 strikeouts, 31 walks, and 102.2 innings pitched. Woodruff hasn't given up more than 3 runs in 13 straight starts. I think that's plenty of insurance for these bullpens to give up 2 or 3 runs, and we can still cash on this under.
Yeah, I mean, I have it as my, the total of the day, and I'm glad that you're backing up as your lock as well. And I think that this is just going to be a pitcher's duel in this game as well. So hopefully we can both cash our total and your lock of the day. Two birds with one stone is what I'm trying to say there. Dylan, let's get to your lock, buddy. What do you got for the Saturday games for our listeners?
No, I just want to say you taking 2 unders in one pod.
I liked 3 of them today. I liked 3 unders.
I'm more of an under guy anyway, but I love it. So my lock, I'm going to be going out to Philly for the Pirates and Phillies game. Give me the Phillies on the run line. I was able to grab a -120. I thought that was good value against one of the worst teams in the league. Kyle Gibson, he's pitched pretty well in his last 4 starts at home. Phillies, they weren't able to win some of those games, but Gibson was able to give them some length, 6-7 innings in those games, 3 runs or less in all of those starts as well. So I like the Phillies in this spot, especially in a bullpen type of game for the Pirates. The Pirates, they have the 4th worst bullpen in the league. I think with the Phillies bats, I think they blitz them. So give me the Phillies here on the run line as my lock.
Shocker. The Dylan is fading the poopy Pirates.
Come on.
I mean, I would too.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not, it's I mean, I love the play, but Phillies, again, we talked about this, that we want to back teams right now that are in the hunt for playoff positioning, and Philly is one of those teams, and you got to take advantage of the opportunities, when you're playing some of the lesser opponents in your respective leagues. And I think this is an opportunity where you have, a guy that you brought in last season for this Phillies team on the mound with Kyle Gibson, who can really, take care of this Pittsburgh lineup. And again, it's a thing of that this offense is really hot right now as well for the Phillies. And again, you get your superstar, your MVP back right there in that 3 spot. Schwarber leading off, Rhys Hoskins, and then you have Bryce Harper. I mean, this lineup, when you have Castellanos that's batting 6 for you, I think that's kind of telling you something. And by the way, you have Browse and Stout that's right behind Castellanos in the lineup as well. So I love it. Noah, you have any thoughts on the Phillies?
I was going to say, you don't think the Pirates are in the pennant race right now?
Maybe for the booby prize, but I don't think
a booby prize. Say your number 1 pick. Come on.
I do hear they have one of the nicest stadiums, though.
Yeah, they do.
Have you been?
Yeah.
I haven't been, but every time I watch their game, like that, the skyline, the downtown they have in the background there in the outfield, that looks absolutely amazing. And I know our good friend of the show, Consig, is always out there as well. And there's a lot of friends that he has that are from that area as well. So yeah, that looks like one of the nicer stadiums that you definitely have to check out.
Yeah, for sure. And if you do, since we're talking about it,
go ahead.
If you do Mount Washington, take my advice up there. Go up there, take a good Skyline pick. That's the best spot you're going to take. If you really want to take my advice, take it's the Monongahela incline, 3 lookout spots over. That's the spot. That's it.
I'll have to keep that in mind next time. I'll go
I'm
to the
not
East
kidding.
Coast there. All right, let me get over to my
Clip
it. Let me get over to my.
We're gonna tag Consig on that Twitter
before the show falls into shambles here. I'm gonna go with the same pick that, or not the same pick, but what Noah had as his dog. I'm going with -1.5 with the Yankees on the run line. It's currently sitting at a -130 for them, and again, like I mentioned, it's just a spot where you start backing this Yankees team right now. They got Stanton back, like I mentioned, like Mayhew back, and the offense really took off in that first game against the Oakland A's. They're going against Adam Oller, who's just been absolutely atrocious for the Oakland A's, and it's just about, do we really trust the Oakland A's offense to outscore the New York Yankees offense? I don't have any faith in that at all. So, and you take a look at his home record. I know, Noah, you mentioned it there as well. He's 1-4 on the season with a 7.71 ERA. And when they're losing games that he's starting, they're losing by 2 or more runs as well. So I'm going to take the Yankees here, -1.5 on the run line here. Noah, you already mentioned it, but Dylan, do you have any other thoughts for this game?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love the Yankees this whole series, the next series as well. I mean, if you're able, are there lines up for that game for the Yankees and A's just yet?
For Saturday, yeah, there.
For Saturday, yeah, I saw -1.5, -130.
So Yankees are -230, Athletics +195. The -1.5 is -130. Athletics to cover the spread +110. The total is only set at 7.5, so over might be in play.
No, a quick question. What were your odds on -2.5?
I was saying when it drops tomorrow.
Oh. It'll be plus odds. I'm pretty sure it'll be like plus.
It'll be plus. Honestly, like
plus
I wouldn't even mind.
I guess.
If your book is going to offer it up to like 4.5, like I see some,
I don't like Hawaii.
I really don't.
Yeah,
like Hawaii, they do play Saturday night, so
Munoz, that's all
Tennessee.
you.
Oh, hell yeah, you know that is all me. Hey,
look,
Hawaii, it's been an
Hawaii,
ATM.
Tennessee. They beat them 10-0. Or no,
who are they playing, Noah?
They're playing Tennessee, who they just beat 13-0.
Why are they playing them again?
Because Tennessee came through the losers bracket.
So this is the United States Championship?
Yeah, the U.S. Championship Saturday, the international championship Saturday, and then the Little League World Series is Sunday, and they'll probably play Chinese Taipei. That's the game.
Lancaster's probably not going to pitch tomorrow.
What?
Lancaster's
not.
Pitch.
No,
he's going to pitch on Sunday then.
Honestly, like they could pitch him because Sakamoto's been really good too. So it's hilarious that we're getting to know these kids' names by
Quick question: does Curacao have a chance?
Yeah. I mean, if they throw Davy J. Oreika, it's hard to know like who they're going to pitch and when.
Yeah.
It's them against
Chinese Taipei, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Taipei.
Fun fact: Consig used to live in Curacao.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. He was down there when he was bookmaking or working, not bookmaking, but he was working for one of those offshore books there. So, he's told that story a lot of times. I'll have to get him back on before the season ends here.
Let's go Curacao.
Yeah, Curacao versus Hawaii for sure.
Nice little Little League World Series talk in the locks portion.
Yeah, there's some extra locks for you. Just take Hawaii.
Hawaii minus 6.5.
Yeah, buy it up to like 7.5, 8.5. I don't think the book will let you, but just buy it.
I said the stat on yesterday's podcast, but I'm going to say it again. The stat is now they've hit 19 home runs in their games, and the other 19 teams combined have hit 15.
They're wagons.
It's wild.
They probably have more home runs than runs and hits allowed.
Yes, that is actually very, very true. I think they've only given up 1 total run in 3 games. So
yeah. All right, so that's gonna do it for this edition of the Little League segment. There, an extra lock for you guys. Take Hawaii, whatever the number is.
Wherever.
Don't be scared of the juice. They're gonna get it done. But that also concludes this episode of the MLB Gambling Podcast. A little turbo episode like we do weekly for the Saturday schedule, lock, dog, and total. But Dylan, anything else before we get out of here, my man?
No, good performance by Jacob deGrom is finally to get some run support for him yesterday. Nothing much weekend. Week 0 for college football starts tomorrow, so I can't wait for Northwestern and Illinois and Dublin. So that's going to be
get up early.
Oh
yes,
yeah,
sir. Noah, anything else, my man?
Yeah, we mentioned college football. We mentioned Hawaii, so I'm fading Hawaii almost the whole year. They got raided in the transfer portal because of the whole new coaching staff and the debacle over there at the end of the last year. So yeah, probably Vanderbilt. It smells so bad, but Vanderbilt on the spread.
Can you really trust Vandy though?
They're an SEC team. You gotta.
Hawaii. I haven't seen anybody on Hawaii.
I'm actually on Hawaii. Yeah. I'm on Hawaii.
Oh, Dylan,
come on. When you go to the Big Island, oh my God. It's hard to play over there.
This year, I don't know. Plus, they're not in Aloha Stadium anymore. It's Chang Sports Center or something like that.
Oh, that's awful.
It only sits 4,500.
That's awful.
It is all right. It's their track. It's their track facility.
Oh, golly. All right. You can follow me on Twitter at SportsNerd824. Follow Noah, the word 70, the number 7, and his initials NB on Twitter. Follow Dylan at Rock with 2 Ks, ROCKK24 on Twitter. Make sure to follow the MLB Gambling Podcast Twitter account. Most importantly, we get our graphic up there, and also when the pod drops and you have your notifications on, you'll be the first one to know. Good luck with your bets on Saturday. We will be back for the Monday games. Till then, let's break these books off and let it ride.